And I would say, as a woman with 6 children, living her dream career in an incredible marriage, I believe that women today are pulled from every different direction. So I think that the role models are far and few, because I don't believe our parents could have modeled the world that we live in now and in context. I mean, even 20 years ago, I don't believe women were pulled from all the different layers that were pulled in the way we are right now.
Absolutely not.
And so, you know, we are entrepreneurs, we work outside of our home, but we also work in our home. We have no help. We're driving our children around. We're taking care of infant. We have less, I believe, help. And I think we're greatly isolated because we somehow believe we're connected through social media, but not interconnected. So there's a lot of vagueness, and that's why I think definition and crystallizing the definitions is key to freedom. Because unless we have a clarity on what those definitions are in our mind, not what the world defines it, I think we're constantly becoming a victim to sort of the noise. And that's what I'm seeing right now, is that there's lack of clarity on what a beautiful relationship is. And so this is what, you know, Ashley and I are trying to really, it's a conversation, because I believe it's a journey. And that I say it's a journey because every woman has a journey to question, and that also has to, within the journey, figure out what that looks like with the couple.
Well, and I think that's originally what we started working on together, was crystallizing, okay, I understood the model that I've been given growing up of, you know, what an ideal marriage might look like, but I also understood the context in which I was living, you know, New York City, entrepreneur, in the fashion and media industry. That just simply was so far removed from anything that I had been taught. That was like, even the thought of getting married was like moving to the North Pole. I mean, it was completely, I never saw children. I barely ever saw couples. Like, it's the most...
That's crazy.
There's so many singles there. It's like 3 women for every man. Like, there are no couples there. So it was such a mental leap for me. And that was where we started working on, what do I want? And what would that even look like? But then the even more radical surprise I realized was when I would go talk to other girlfriends, you know, we'd be at a bar, a corner booth somewhere late at night, we'd be drinking over wine, which is when, of course, the best conversations happen.
Gets really good after the second glass.
So we're, you know, having wine. I say, you know, this, I'm, you know, my boyfriend or, you know, whoever I was dating, they're not the one that's struggling with commitment. I am. I'm the one that's struggling with feeling excited about committing. And I thought that was so counterintuitive, because what I thought in my mental model was men don't want to commit. That's what I've been taught. Men don't want to commit. But in my experience, that was simply not the case. And the men were much more excited about committing across the board. So I would share that with their girlfriend. They said, oh my gosh, it's me too. And their experience, the woman was the one that did not want to commit. And once we got into it, we realized, well, it's because we don't want to sell ourselves short. We don't want to settle. We're not sure if, you know, we're going to be too much for them. We're, you know, very type A and they're not. Or we're not sure we want to, you know, let go of our independence quite yet. Or what does that even look like? Or we don't know if our dreams are too big. And there were so many things that were coming out in the conversation. I was like, I am not the only one that's dealing with this. So in our conversations together, we worked through that, and I feel a much more great sense of freedom. But it really came from a place of feeling stuck. And I don't even know where to find those answers.
Well, it seems to me that it's almost like giving up a smaller nature for a higher nature. In a sense that maybe this is my dream, this is how I wanted to live my life, but it is never in harmony with married life. And I think that's a false definition or assumption, probably based on the models or lack thereof. And I think we need to unearth the models out there that are living an incredible married life and also living their career in exponential ways. And I would say, from my experience, I feel like Ryan has given me the freedom to dream again. And that it was until I believe I was married that I was able to expand my dreams and be set free. So my experience is completely different from Ashley, is that it was that love that gave me freedom. But I invested years in figuring out what that kind of love was that would set me free. And I was a student of it diligently because of my own wounds. So for me, I want to destroy that model that limits us and assumes that when we get married, then our dreams die with it. And I say that when we get married, that our dreams should expand, because now it's 2. But I think the question then is that do we marry those dreams together, and how do we prepare, which is where we are now, is this engagement conversation classroom where we want to know, and we want to kind of begin to chip away on the questions and the conversations that are necessary for us before we even walk down that aisle,
right,
so that we are not in shock and we understand what we're walking into, and that we know it's a place of freedom.
Right.
And that has to be key.
Mm-hmm.